we're going to open this up to questions. So I know we've been getting some that have been coming in as we have been talking. So I got a list. I got a couple of them, some that were sent in early. So we're going to go ahead and get to those here in a second. All the contact information for Kim and I are right there. I'll tell you, I've worked with Kim. I know our company has worked with Kim extensively. Her and her company do amazing work. I've personally seen her. Oh, you're welcome. You know what? I don't hand out compliments very readily. Some people would say that's a fault. I would say it's called honesty. But you know what? I'll tell you the homeowners that we worked with, Kim, they didn't have a firm understanding of what staging was. They really didn't understand what you were going to do. They were concerned that you were going to be like, all right, everything has to be out of here. You know, and just all the stuff that you would imagine someone could imagine being wrong. They were so happy when we left that house. It was really good. It was really good. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
So, all right, let's pop this off. Let's get back to staring at Kim and Ryan's wonderful faces.
Well, Ryan, I will say that you and your whole team, I mean, the whole Wannabe group as a whole, have been a huge pleasure and breath of fresh air for me to personally work with. And when I was talking earlier about agents out there in the market who really came to bat for us during this, Wannabe is at the top of the list.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So we have a great group of people, great team, and I think you can tell when somebody's heart and effort is in the right place.
I think so. Yeah. You guys are an impressive group, truly. And I don't hand out compliments very easily.
All right, your $20 check is in the mail.
Right. There you go.
All right, let's get to some of the questions. Let's start off with some of them for you, Kim. First one is, why do I need a stager when I can clean and declutter on my own?
You certainly can clean and declutter on your own, but sometimes, and this is why we're in business, is that extra set of eyes from someone like me who does this every day for a living. And I work the same schedule as the real estate market does, which is 24/7. It's a fresh opinion. It is me telling a homeowner what I'm seeing in the market, what people are buying, what is moving fast. And the homeowner isn't privy to some of that knowledge just for the mere fact that they're not in the market every day like we are.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question, I think?
It does. And the follow-up to it was, is it worth the money? And I know that you guys have multiple levels and options and stuff like that, but I guess you say a general amount of money and what that correlates to?
You know, that brings up a few interesting points. One is we will do a consultation and give a homeowner pretty much room by room everything they need to do, and that's a nominal fee of $250. So to me, it is incredibly worth having me come into your home virtually or live for $250. Now, if you end up staging, and I can always give you a bid for free on that, we will deduct the $250 from your staging. So it's kind of a no-brainer. The other point in that is there are a lot of homeowners, and especially right now, who do not want to give up their cash, understandably. So we, in January, partnered with a finance company who will finance all staging, including improvements. So paint, carpet, whatever, really. I mean, some people are redoing their bathrooms. And they will finance all of it through escrow. So the homeowner is not out any money up front. We get paid. All of the vendors get paid. The painters, the carpet people, they get paid. And it is to me, a very nominal fee. It amounts to a few $100s for that security of knowing you don't have to go out of pocket for the expense of it. So, and then one other thing, I do not like losing jobs to anyone. And call me competitive, call me whatever, but I will always try to match another stager's bid in town. Also, if my bid ever looks too high for someone, I want to talk about it because there's always scalability. So, I mean, and especially in owner-occupied homes, the one thing that and thank you for your compliment, Ryan. The one thing I really try hard to do is not displace homeowners from their everyday life, because selling a house is disruptive enough at times with open houses and showings and keeping your house up. So my job is to help as much as I can and not disrupt a family. So I'm pretty cognizant of that. And so hopefully that answers all those questions. I probably went off on different tangents too.
No, I think you're good. I think you hit it. I would add to that. It's something that you brought up earlier. When I first got into real estate, I'm always someone who can see things in my head. I can imagine a structure in 3D and I can rotate it around and do all that stuff in my mind. Apparently there aren't a lot of people that can do that. And so I can walk into a house and I can have a pretty good idea of that will go here, that'll go there. That's not normal, right? And
right.
Even with my ability to see it, oh yeah, my king size bed is exactly that. Good luck, right? I can kind of tell. But what I've noticed now, having been in the industry, people have no imagination when it comes to relative size of the room and how their stuff is going to fit. And if you're thinking about, hey, do I need to stage this? The house is empty. Having a point of reference, such as here's a couch, here's a queen size bed, here's a kitchen table.
Yes.
Am I on the right track?
You're 100% on the right track. And what I oftentimes tell homeowners is that my job is also to anticipate what the camera lens is going to look at. So, because obviously nowadays, and even more so now, people shop online first. So those photos are important. They are more important now than they have ever been in the past. And so if I can position a room perfectly so that the photographer can capture it and make it look great online, I'm doing my job, because then I'm helping buyers walk into your house. They're going to want to call Brian for a showing. If they don't, then I haven't done my job.
I hear you. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, this one is a more real estate question. Are things selling? Are people buying things? Yes, they are. We went over the numbers earlier. 2 weeks ago, when we first started the show itself, instead of just a random YouTube update, I was telling you it's day by day, hour by hour. At this point, it is day by day, week by week-ish, probably closer to week by week. You'll notice that that there's a new graph we added in back at the beginning where we're looking at a weekly perspective. It's just a function of having enough data. But yes, things are absolutely selling. We have a townhouse down in Mission Valley, the Mission Valley, Linda Vista, Bay Park area just sold. It's at a brand new record in the North Rim development for the highest price ever. We've got all kinds of properties in Carmel Valley that are selling. People are out. They need to buy. They need to sell. Right? And so the biggest question that I'm getting asked on a regular basis, and this is one that I saw a couple of them come through, how are you guys, and I think they're meaning both you as a stager, and you talked about this, and then me as an agent, how are we keeping people safe, and how are we protecting them, whether it be a homeowner or a buyer? So do you want to put add anything to what you'd said earlier? You want to maybe sum that up one more quick time? Yeah,
for us, and we're trying to really follow the guidelines set by the California Department of Real Estate and also San Diego locally. We will not enter a home unless we have signed the waivers, the COVID waivers. So that's first and foremost. Mm-hmm. If we do not do it by DocuSign, I have several copies in my car that I hand agents and homeowners with my gloves on when I enter a house. I photograph them and I upload them to our company cloud so that we're covered, that the homeowner is allowing me into the home. And we are wearing masks, we are wearing gloves, we are staying in homes for a very short amount of time. And, if a homeowner feels uncomfortable, then we'll wait a week. We'll wait 2 weeks. We'll wait however long they want, or we'll do it virtually.
Yeah, makes sense to me. On our end, it's very similar. Let's call it two different sides of the same coin. So in terms of buyers that are out there, there's the California Association of Realtor Reform. It's PEAD, Property Entry Advisory Disclosure.
Yes.
Basically, anyone that any buyer and or agent that wants to go into a house has to sign this. It's basically saying you might catch the coronavirus. Watch out. So, okay, cool. Got it. That's the norm now. So with buyers, it was not uncommon pre-coronavirus to have buyers look at an MLS sheet. They'll read the features, they'll look at the pictures, and they're like, good to go. Let's go look at the house. We're out driving around, looking at homes, going in, doing the normal, house search things. That's not how it's working today, obviously. At this point, buyers that we're working with, they're still looking through the MLS sheet. They're looking at the pictures. Now we're looking through with them the virtual tour, the 3D tour, and we're having the buyers actually go drive by the property first. If they can check all those boxes and then they still want to see the property, the next step is a virtual tour, right? So whether that is me going to the property with an iPhone and doing a Zoom or a FaceTime, or whether that's the listing agent, we've even seen situations where the homeowners are doing it. That's the virtual tour. And now from there, it really depends on price point, right? If you're under $1 million, let's say, chances are if the home is not occupied, you're good to go in. It's not going to be an issue. You still sign the form. If it's occupied, it really is just going to depend on what the seller has to say. I think you're starting to see more access, especially, let's call it under 600. You get over that $1 million price point, and definitely over about 1.5, maybe 2, homeowners are not letting people step into the property unless they write an offer. Right? There's a couple properties we have in Carmel Valley right now that you will not step foot in unless you write an offer. And we're not accepting offers for $1 on a $1.7 million house. It needs to be a real offer. Right? And it's just, that's one more layer of security for the sellers to know that we're not just letting any random, John and Jane walk through their house. Right? And so, turning that around onto the seller side, it's the opposite side of that. We're not going to let people into the house unless we know they have gone through all the steps that we just laid out for their buyers, for our buyers, for theirs. And more than likely, if you are not comfortable with somebody coming into the house without them having written an offer, that is something that we ultimately work for you. And if that's going to increase your level of comfort, we're going to make it happen. All right. And so that's currently where we're at. Things are going to start to change even more rapidly as we're going through. But in general, the face mask, the booties, the gloves, all that stuff is a no-brainer at this point. So that's where we're at with the safety. All right, Kim, I got another one for you. We'll go with the somewhat serious one. I do have a rather goofy one that someone sent in. All right, what are the 3, if you had to give 3 very quick top recommendations, somebody who says, look, I have the greatest sense of design ever. I can blah, 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 blah. What are the 3 things I have to do? What would you tell them? 3 biggest things.
First, less is more. Always. Mm-hmm. Less is more. I would suggest getting your main key rooms in perfect shape. Those being the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the master bedroom. Then after that, I would just probably make sure that your scale of furniture in those rooms is appropriate. Your paintings and artwork and mirrors are placed appropriately. I am a stickler on scale. So if I see a huge, huge, huge sofa and teeny, teeny, tiny chairs next to it, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. Like, let's move those out. Let's switch it up with something else. So scale, that's a big deal for me. So those are probably my 3 go-to things that I look at the most.
Okay. I actually now have a follow-up for you on that. The best way I've been able to describe this to buyers or sellers primarily is you cleaning up your house for the most important party that you're ever going to host is not staging. That's cleaning up. Staging is your house looks like a hotel.
Right.
Put a finer point on that. That's pretty crude. How would you describe that with personal?
Yeah, I mean, it varies because obviously if we're doing a vacant home, we have carte blanche into what we can bring into a house. So that's an easier job in many respects for us as stagers, because we go to the warehouse, we pick out everything. It's like you're designing for a day. In a owner-occupied house, it's a little tougher because it's a little harder to marry existing owners' furnishings with things that we bring in. It's one of my favorite things to do because it is so challenging. But to blend it is really, it's hard, but it's very, very fun. What I say to homeowners generally is, let's make your beds look like someone wants to just leap into them. They're so luxurious. Let's make your bathrooms look like you're at the Four Seasons spa. And those are not expensive things to do. They can be done with just a tiny few tricks. I was talking to a homeowner this morning virtually who was taking my advice, and her master bedroom needed some height on her bed. And I said, really, all you have to do is go buy 2 big European sized pillows and put them behind everything. And she did it. And her bed looks so much better. It's just about the photography right now. So, and then there's little tricks. Like, I even tell homeowners, take a photograph of your master bed and the nightstands and the lamps, and make sure it looks good in your photo. Is it symmetrical? Are the nightstands the same distance from the bed and the wall? Are your lamps positioned in the same position on each nightstand? They're tiny little tricks.
Yeah. These are all the little things, guys, that we don't think about. This is why there are subject matter experts that are out there. This is why we partner up with people like Kim, is because I don't need to know this. I have Kim.
I went to design school, so I have a particular interest in not seeing a bed that has a big wrinkle through it in a photo. I don't like that at all.
I hear you. All right, a couple more and then we'll get wrapped up. Got 2 more for you, 1 for me. I'll handle the real estate one first. When is the market going to crash? Not tomorrow. I've been saying this repetitively. I'll sum it up again. It's not going to. Based off everything that we're seeing at this point, it is not. All right. If we continue to have the economy shut down into August, September, October, that's a completely different story. Even as of a week ago, before they started having the opening up that we're having, right? There was nothing to indicate that was coming. All right. We've talked a lot about the different reasons why. Just today, we've talked about the equity that homeowners have, right? They're not walking away from $125,000, right? It's 177 if nothing happens. There's no depreciation. There's no crash. People aren't walking away from it. We showed you the month's worth of inventory. There's nothing for sale, right? There's nothing lining up that's going to indicate that. Will there be distressed properties? Yes, there will. Absolutely. Will there be foreclosures? No, they're not. You want to know why? Because, Kim, let me ask you, let's do a hypothetical question. I'm going to ask you, right? You're a homeowner. You have the average of $177,000. You owe $1 on your mortgage. You missed a payment. Bank says, Kim, we're foreclosing. Are you going to go, oh, crap? Oh, no, take my house. Or are you going to go, right, I'll pay you the $1, right? But that's intuitive to the example. But here's the other actual answer. Sell the house for 1 point whatever and keep the profits. Keep your $177,000. What do you do?
Right. Yeah. Hello.
No brainer. No brainer. Right. So
Right.
there will be some, if we continue on the path and the trajectory that we're on right now, I don't see this turning anywhere close to being 2008. All right. All right, Kim, 2 more for you. We'll start with the serious one first. Are you really able to do as thorough of a job virtually staging than if you step into the property?
That's a really good question. I think so, because I think I'm that good at it. I guide a homeowner and tell them to slow down, step back so I can see the whole room at once, turn the camera so I can see every little detail. And so, yeah, I think that we can do a pretty darn good job. I mean, almost to perfect.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, having seen you do what you did over on La Jolla Shores Drive, being the most recent one, I wouldn't be surprised if you're still doing virtual consultations in a year just because it's easier for other people.
Yeah. I mean, it is easier. And I mean, I can do them right in the privacy of my house. And it's, I mean, to me, it's awesome. It's just another way to capture, a client and to help you guys out, the homeowner, the agents.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. All right. Good. Last question. You ready for this one? What is the most bizarre thing that you really, really wanted a homeowner to remove from the house that they absolutely refused to remove for staging?
Oh, what is the most bizarre thing? Gosh, I don't know if I've had that many bizarre things that I've needed people to remove. For some reason, I feel like I don't get much pushback, and maybe because I have a softer approach most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a good answer for that. Most homeowners are pretty good for me. They do what I tell them to do.
Okay. Well, that's where we'll leave it then. There's nothing wrong with that. So, all right, everybody, that is This Week in Housing, episode number 3 with
Thanks, Ryan.
Kim Kelly. Kim, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right, everybody. That's going to be it. Recording will be up on YouTube at some point this weekend, and episode number 4 next Friday. All right, everybody. Make it a good weekend. Stay safe.
Thank you. Yep.